Okay, I'm gonna start the game. For players who are bad at action games, I'm gonna go with normal, but I'm probably gonna regret that later. My story began in February, year of 2000. Chat. Oh. Sorry that you can't see the left-hand side of the letters, but... Oh my god. I need to turn on the desktop audio and it's giving me the worst time trying to tab out. Okay. Okay.
Went as he knew I would.
Okay. Yeah, I fixed it. I fixed it. Okay, we're good. We're good.
Dead almost 30 years ago. Said the old book and collection of notes I found.
I've never worked so hard to play a game in my entire life.
Father's instructions were to burn the documents, raise no further questions. But that was his error. No man's immune to the shameful trappings of curiosity, and my humanity got the better of me. The university I taught at was world renowned for two things: physics and linguistics. I represented the first, and the man who stood for the second was stumped by my recent acquisition. The book was in.
How is the audio? Can you hear it fairly well?
However, showed a location somewhere in uninhabited northern Greenland. It took me almost a year to book the last flight I'd ever take. As I watched civilization disappear along with Heathrow, I realised my father had disappeared 3 decades ago, almost to the day, and I considered in turn what it was that I was leaving behind. We landed on a strip of ice a few feet wide, and within minutes I was pulling away on a chartered boat, beginning the 12-hour journey that would lead me into my past.
I'll fix it. Hold on. There we go. I bumped it quite a bit.
Oh shit, I just lucky that. Chapter 3.
Finally, we're almost docked. I'd better stow my gear. I may be far from home, but chances are I can still pick things up using left mouse, and I can take a closer look at things using right mouse. Left my torch in the desk drawer next to the bed. It can be opened using the left mouse on it, holding the button down and moving the mouse. I'm certain this map's a good decade or so out of date, but landmarks don't change much in Greenland, so I've got a pretty decent idea of where I'm heading. Flashlight switches off via the inventory tab button, or hopefully with the shortcut key of F. Now, where's my emergency glow stick? Should still be in the locker. Keys in my inventory. Okay. Definitely can use the F. Inventory. Creek. Okay. With the shortcut G for glow stick. Got it. Extra batteries to power my flashlight. Wonders. I can't take the soup though, which I would definitely be taking if I had the opportunity. And what do I do with that? Swing! Equal chance they use this chest for personal belongings or bait. Okay, apparently it smells really bad. As I stepped off the boat, setting out into the blizzard that had formed around me, I realized how utterly devoted I'd been to the discovery of my father's past. I had no idea what to expect. Soon enough, my concerns were justified. I don't know whether I lost my orientation or my spirit first, but I lost feeling in my extremities soon after, and new hypothermia was setting in. I started looking for shelter. That's bright white. So cold. Don't know where I am. Need shelter soon. My entire head went numb a long time ago, but I can still hear the wind roaring past. Or is that some kind of animal? If I click and hold the interact button, I should just about manage to pick up that rock. The cold's made me weak, but I can still throw things using the examine button when I'm carrying something. Oh my god. Eh. Hit. Eh. That was very difficult. Okay. Clank, clank, clank. It's an unsettling noise, Chad. Jesus, my head. I can't believe I fell that far and survived. Although looking around, maybe I didn't. What is this place? Empty boxes of ammunition. What is this place? There. Heavy looking wooden barrel, could be anything inside. Stuck, must be something in the way. Okay. Let's see, I can swing this hammer if I hold left mouse. I can make a backswing by pulling the mouse right and then follow through by pushing left. The opposite works too. Pulling back then thrusting forward produces a stabbing motion. I reckon if I hold down right mouse off the backswing, I should still be able to look around. Not doing a whole lot there or there. Nope. Spend all this time getting to be able to play this game, and then I'm probably just gonna be a big enough idiot that I, like, can't figure out. But how am I supposed to? Can't get through there. Okay, so I was just supposed to know that that was a thing that I could do, apparently. Cool, 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 cool. Oh god. Looks like there's some kind of industrial mechanism, although there's a hole in the center and no way to operate it. This hatch is seriously solid. It won't open by hand. Someone obviously wanted to keep people out or in. Okay, so that's that door. Cool, 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 cool. Can't go back up in there. So don't go left. Whatever I was ascending into, it was 100 feet below ground, protected by 2 solid metal hatches located in a remote Arctic wilderness and buried beneath the snow. I didn't know what to expect, but it made me feel something I hadn't felt since I was a child. I'd never given it much thought before, but I realized that our entire society is a network of safety nets, emergency services at the end of a phone line, health and safety in the workplace, friends and family, lovers, all there if something goes wrong, part of a carefully designed structure to prevent all but the most mundane of emotions. Once again, I felt like I did when I was in school, surrounded by a closing ring of older kids, knowing anyone that might help me. Friends, parents, teachers were too scared or too far away. I've jotted down a note just in case. There could be anything living down here. Heroics are for Hollywood actors and fairy tales. I'm not taking any chances. If I face off against anything down here, I won't last a second. Caution and stealth are my only defenses now. If anyone or anything hears me, I'd be best off staying low and out of sight until I know whether or not it's a threat. Crouching by pressing left control will give me the best chance to hide in the shadows. I know I've got it right because of the blue tint to my vision. Plus, I should be quiet enough that I won't be heard unless something's right on top of me. Better remember to shut off any light sources, though. Okay. "15th of August, 1945. Command Bunker. Emergency Airstrip Zulu. Weekly Report. Another unremarkable week in Greenland. Regular supply shipment received. Standard emergency drills carried out. Runway routine maintenance completed. I have ordered maintenance to be carried out twice weekly from here on in due to increased snowfall. 1 wounded. The 1 wounded figure is no cause for concern back in London. The Germans haven't extended their front line by 4,000 miles. 2 of my men were caught manufacturing cherry bombs in our workshop armory and succeeded in blowing off a couple fingers. I take partial responsibility for this in that I allowed them access to the demolitions manual we kept in the storeroom, and I'm sure that's where they learned the ingredients. As a precautionary measure, I have now locked up that manual in the chest in my office and will keep the key on my person at all times. Needless to say, both men have been disciplined, and the injured man has been sent home for medical care. I cannot help think but a more suitable punishment would have been for him to stay out here, but the matter is out of my hands. The space is so disconnected, sometimes I feel as if this war could end and we might not even hear about it out here. Supplies requisition order. Dynamite for excavation purposes, 7 bayonets, not necessarily in my opinion, but procedure states we should have a full complement. 1 industrial ice pick for removing the damn ice that forms on the external hatch. 1 pair of reading glasses, Category 7C, an order for myself. My glasses are in rather poor state of repair and could do with replacing. Reconditioning of the mines continues to progress. The structure is being fortified from potential bomb damage and excavation of previously caved-in areas going ahead. 1 point of curiosity is some kind of archaeological find, an artifact buried in the earth and discovered by one of the work teams. Later this evening, after martial duty, I shall take a closer look at the artifact. It appears to be man-made and may have working parts inside. I shall remove what looks like the front cover and see if I can't discover the source of the light which constantly emanates from it. Chief NCO M. Major. Oh, what'd I click on? A man, an old man, clutching something unseen. He is strange, and yet he is no stranger. Never seen before, still I know this man before me is Howard. I call him father. Ugh, what the hell? What just happened? I don't know if that was such a good idea. I picked up some backstring. Some extra batteries. And nothing. A key. Copenhagen Post, Monday, 17th August 1930. So, psychotropic deposits at the bottom of Death Mine. Researchers at the University of Copenhagen have suggested that mind-altering chemicals naturally sewn into the rock may be the cause of high suicide rates at a Greenland mine. The university, which has recently been conducting studies into isolated communities, first became interested in the workers of the northwestern lead mine last year. They discovered that even taking into account Greenland's naturally higher suicide rate, local figures for the last 100 years were abnormally high at 46 deaths per 100,000 populace, compared to the national average of 29. On further investigation, experts diagnosed in many of the miners symptoms in common with the earlier stages of paranoid schizophrenia. This has prompted researchers to hypothesize that natural deposits of lysergic acid, a pH 4 formula recently discovered to have hallucinogenic properties, may be present in the rocks. Few locals were conducive to interview, but those who agreed to speak had their own explanation. Inuit spirits known as the Torngate live in the mountains. The university is awaiting the results of chemical testing. Studies continue. Okay. Everything I needed. Damn. I closed it too hard. Okay, doesn't look like there's anything in there. Not me trying to tip my literal head to look. Beef jerky. I guess if I get hungry or something. Painkillers. Some more jerky. Big Book of Explosives, 1923 edition. Chapter 1.3, Black Match Fuse. The Black Match Fuse is one of the oldest, simplest, and most reliable fuses used in modern pyrotechnics. It is easy to create, essentially consisting of just string and gunpowder, but be warned the chemical concerned will stain clothing, and as always, due to concern is advised. Materials required. String, preferably cotton, black gunpowder, backstring. The string should be coated with a thin layer of backstring, which acts as an adhesive. The string is then carefully rolled in the gunpowder and left to dry at least a couple of minutes before use. 2.1. Dynamite. Invented by Alfred Noble in 1866, dynamite is commonly used in construction, mining, and demolition. It is proved far safer to handle than alternatives such as pure nitroglycerin, provided that it has been properly stored. Over time, the explosive component of dynamite, supposedly made safe by the presence of diatomaceous earth, has a tendency to weep, making an old box of explosives liable to detonate on contact. Materials required: 1 part diatomaceous earth, 3 parts nitroglycerin, a small amount of sodium carbonate. text unreadable, and then simply form into short sticks and wrap in paper. Chapter 2.3, TNT. TNT was first discovered in 1863 by German chemist Joseph Wildbrand, but it took some years before it yielded its true potential. This was because of the difficulty of making it explode, and the lesser detonation in comparison to dynamite. The main advantage was discovered by the German Navy, who employed TNT's relative explosive stability in order to cause massive damage to British warships. Their torpedoes could be detonated inside a ship's armor rather than exploding on contact, as did other shells. Armstrong's mixture, Chapter 2.6. It is included in this book as more of a point of interest than a viable chemical mix. The formula exists as somewhat of a legend in modern pyrotechnics, referenced by those knowledgeable enough to stay away from it as death mix. Its incredible volatility, wow, tongue-tied today, chat, make it unsuitable for almost all potential applications. Materials required: red phosphorus and barium. This mixture can be carefully and slowly mixed to minimize risk to the chemist. Sulfur can be substituted for some or all of the barium to slightly decrease sensitivity. All of that sounds dangeroso to me. Made in Germany, 1923. Okay, old ass. It's a picture of a British platoon. It must date back to World War II. I suppose this mine was converted into some kind of bunker. Oh god. I said not to stare at it, so I'm not staring at it, chat. Oh my god, the spooky.
Hey man.
What?
You are approaching the end of Atsu's hunt. The rest of Ezo will be inaccessible until her story is complete.
Oh. Well, you better be sure that you're ready for that, I guess.
Ugh. Well, I will beat it, but I will not fight with it.
Okay. Where the fuck am I? Okay, so I can't get into there yet. Okay. Storage room. The work of either a child or a deranged mind. That's not unsettling. Oh god, I clicked a thing again. It was different but the same that time. Like I had more control. But over what? Interesting. Don't see anywhere. Do not know. I have no idea if I'm winning or not. There's a spooky monster in here with me that's been making a lot of noise. I already went to the office and the storage room. Okay, so I feel like the workshop is next. Can I not? I guess I don't have the key. Okay, so there's a locked door with stuff behind it. And I don't have a key to open that door or the workshop. So that is not breakable, apparently. Okay. So I got a bunch of things in here. And there was nothing else for me to get. Okay. I think there was a map somewhere. Okay, so the workshop. Okay. Now, here's the storage room that has the whispery guy. The door's locked. This door is locked. I have not found a key. But, like, do they just want me to, like... Yeah, I don't know. I may never get used to that. Okay, so it doesn't really do anything different there. What in the actual hell? Okay. Shows some kind of trapdoor, but I can't see where it would be. Christ, was that a spider? I don't like spiders. I didn't really mean to do that. Ow! Ouch. Day 1. I begun this record still in the hope that the great work we have undertaken here might one day be of scientific value. Despite the chaos which was ensued in the 6 hours previous, my aim is to remain secure until what help there may be arrives, and to that I have barricaded myself into a small workshop area in the abandoned part of the mine. I hope that the meager food rations here will keep me alive, and that those I hide from will not jeopardize that. Perhaps this mine really is cursed. It is almost precisely 30 years since the incident that brought us here, and now 30 years on, fate has struck again. Skips to day 3. I forecasted that today the crews would arrive, but I can only hypothesize that they would be unaware of my location, and hence busy themselves evacuating the other survivors. If they have not arrived by tomorrow, I will go out in search of them. My first mistake was to make assumptions on the matter of rescue. My second mistake was to make assumptions on the safety of this mine. My third mistake was to act on both those assumptions in going outside my safe haven. My best estimate is that I left the workshop where I was secured about 2 days ago in search of aid, and I have found only danger. I approached the old living quarters, but curiously could find no sign of life whatsoever. I returned in what I thought was the direction from which I had come, but soon found myself in an unfamiliar locale. Confused but focused, I attempted to make my way home, but found myself threatened by some species of feral creature, which seems to have made this old mine its home. Although the specimen bore significant interest to me, I chose to retreat, only to find myself outmaneuvered and outnumbered by the beasts. I turned and ran, injuring my ankle in the process, which I now believe is most likely a sprain rather than a fracture. For some time I cowered and fled into the dark, but a few hours ago I discovered a door leading to a smaller, disused part of the mine, the key for which I still have in my pocket. Within that area I discovered this storeroom, and I think it should keep me safe for some time. This place is a maze. My lesson learned. I will not venture out again until I'm certain the area is safe. Day 19. Rescue seems increasingly unrealistic. Supplies diminishing, lots of spiders in this place, and I do not like spiders. Day 35. Any known venom would have affected me by now, and so today is the first minor cause for celebration I have had since the incident. But lucky coincidence, this revelation also means I have discovered a virtually inexhaustible supply of nutrition. I intend to venture into the basement beneath the storeroom in the name of science to discover more about these creatures' natural habitat. Day 50. For 4 days now, I've been thriving solely off of the quite considerable sustenance provided by the spiders. For some time, I was struggling to gather enough of the crunchy little morsels. However, Lady Luck smiled on me once more when the batteries in my torch died and made a second life-saving finding. The creature's natural habitat is the dark. With my light now diminished, I need only lie still for a few minutes, and I will have attracted enough of the beasts for a rather hearty meal. Okay. Skittering. Day 71. My earlier assumptions on the benign nature of my cellmates may have been made in error. After a careful autopsy, I am concerned that there may be a small volume of natural chemical stored in the stomach which, if ingested regularly over a period of time, may become psychotropic or even lethal. My only real chance is to break out of here and raid any stashes of supplies I can find. However, the evidence against such move is insurmountable. I have no source of light. I swore to myself I wouldn't leave until I heard human voices outside, and the spiders are so tasty. Day 100. From the marks I've been making on the walls in my scribbled diary entries, which in the dark may amount to an illegible scrawl, today is the 100th day of my new life. Over the past month, my edible friends have become more and more aggressive, and have swelled in number and size. Whether or not this is a result of my plundering their ecosystem, I am unsure. However, at this rate of growth, they will soon be too large to crawl through the gaps in the walls. For all I know, I could only be seeing the tip of the iceberg. If all fails, and I am never recovered, I hope at least that my study of, and indeed involvement with, these fascinating creatures will one day be regarded as an important point in natural history. The greatest names in modern science got there more through fluke than talent, and it appears that this role has extended itself to my discovery of this delicious new species. I only pray that the second rule deems my breakthrough too insignificant, for all great discoveries tend to consume their inventor. Damn it. Chat. I died again. I wonder if I can just yeet the ladder once I get it. I don't know if I actually need this ladder for anything, but it's my emotional support ladder. Oh shit. I don't know what that was. I think someone's been dragged through here. I've never seen this much blood before. That was my best chance to get some answers. Who else is still down here? The fuck? Is that a tongue? Yes. Ooh. Giant spider. I am uncomfortable. Ooh, it's a key. Day 200. It has been some time since I recorded any findings in relation to the spiders with whom I have shared my existence for the past 8 months. Partly due to enforced retreat from their basement territory, not too long ago their behavior became overtly aggressive, and so I have attempted to barricade the main entrance to their lair and secured myself within one of the smaller rooms above it, the only one with an operational door lock. The other reason is that I have been recovering from a minor operation, which I was forced to conduct myself without the aid of anesthetic. Even if I did have any anesthetic or surgical tools, I couldn't afford to be less than diligent in my work, so anesthetic was out. Surgical tools are all well and good, but although it may be becoming old and rusty, I still trust my penknife to do the job just as well. The procedure itself is elementary enough, a simple amputation of a non-vital organ. I began to notice a thick, glue-like substance forming on my tongue and was forced to accept that it had become infected through constant toxin ingestion. Day 300. Another century of days comes and goes. It seems like so long since I escaped here. At some stage since my last entry, I attempted to return from whence I came. That from which I originally was fleeing seems a fate far worse than the one I now face. However, in the time since I arrived from the larger mine system, a cave-in has occurred. Blocking any further progress, I was forced to return and accept whatever end life has in store for me. I can still hear my aggressive little friend scratching at the door to my cell. That sucks. For him. But also, like, cutting out your own tongue does not sound like a fun time. The hole isn't large enough for a man, not that I'd go anywhere near it, even if it was. What burrowed out this tunnel? I'm so itchy right now, chat. Boo. I don't like speed race. Look at that tongue now. Gross. Okay, I do have another key though. Which probably means that I finished the storeroom stuff. I wonder if I go back to the office now. Or was it the office? No, I think it was the workshop that I was trying to get into. And he had the key. Yay. I'm dead. I'm so dead. Ugh. You fucking dick. Stupid dog. You go away. Oh god, okay. The dog got me, chat. Okay, I think that's where I'm going to leave it off because now I know what's up. Yeah, super winning. The dog murdered me. I mean, I evaded it this entire time though, so I do feel like I did fairly well. I see why y'all recommended this game to me though, because definitely it was kind of up my alley in terms of like puzzle type survival scary shit, but it's not quite as scary as Amnesia. So I do appreciate that recommendation because this is very fun after we figured out all of the technical difficulties, and it won't be so hard for next week. So I will be back on Friday for some Fridays for Friends. As long as everything works out alrighty and all whatnots. I do be thinking that we're going to be playing something kind of spooky. So come back for that. See what we're up to. Friday around 6 p.m. Central Time. You guys, please take care of yourselves. It is that kind of world out there that we need to take care of ourselves and take care of each other. And, you know, just try to have a good rest of your day, you know? Be nice to somebody if you have the chance to do so, especially if they deserve it. You guys take care. I'll see you on Friday. Be good or don't. Bye!